in my opinion, life is a best teacher. I have got some of the best lessons in my life through my own experiences. So in today's talk, I'll be speaking about some real life experiences that I have had with poor UX, how it impacted me, and the lessons I learned from these experiences. Experiences are created when diverse set of people come together and when they work on user problems. And I think we as testers are in a unique position to help our organizations build a world-class user experience. Because I think we have a superpower. And that superpower is to empathize with our customers. We can put ourselves in the shoes of the customer. We deeply understand our customers, their needs, their limitations, their pain points, their abilities. That's exactly what is required to create a great user experience. And I think as testers, we are uniquely positioned to do so. And today, I think it's high time that we as testers do much more than just testing functionality or automating a few tests. We need to add business value as testers. We need to do much more than what we are currently doing. Right? We have to break some of the barriers that we have set around ourselves. So today, what has happened is UX has become a key driver for business success. Right? The difference between a great product and a good product is the user experience it offers. The CEO of Adobe said a few years back that people no longer buy products, they buy experiences. And here are some numbers. So Forbes says that poor UX makes 70% of the customers abandon purchases. 74% of the businesses acknowledge that user experience is vital to boost sales. UX is a much larger umbrella, and UX and usability is a small part of it. Usability deals with the ease of use. It's basically how easy is it to learn an application and use it to solve a specific problem. Let's take example of QA Touch. How easy is it for me to learn and use QA Touch as a tester to author test cases? That speaks about the usability of QA Touch. But UX is much more than that. UX encompasses each and every interaction a person has with the brand. It's an emotional experience someone has with the brand, a set of emotions, perceptions, beliefs that encompasses user experience. So basically, what do I think about QA Touch? UX is all about making people happy before, during, and after using the product. It even leads to the real world. Like how is the marketing? Let's say QA Touch. How is their marketing? How is their sales? How is my interactions with their team? Right? It might be also how is their leadership decisions that they take. So all these encompass UX. So to give you a simple example, UX is like having a meal in a fancy restaurant. It's not just about how tasty the food is. It's also about how the ambience is, how the music is, how the crowd is, how am I greeted when I enter, right? How is the building experience? All this encompass user experience. So everything has a user experience, from a coffee machine to, let's say, going to an airport or attending a conference. Everything that can be experienced has a user experience. So to summarize, UX is basically what it feels like to use a product or a service. UX is all about solving user problems while generating positive emotions. So a little bit about myself. My name is Prashant Hegde. I head the testing unit at Moengage, leading marketing automation and customer engagement platform. I have almost a decade of experience in the software testing space. I'm an avid blogger. I authored articles for leading software testing magazines, newsletters, and blogs. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. I'll be happy to connect with all of you. And you can find all my content on my website, prashanthegde.biz. So today I'll be telling you a few interesting stories. So this happened back in my hometown in Karnataka. So one of my friends recommended me to have a lemon tea from a popular tea store. So I visited this place. It was a small tea store, not a cafe, no seating arrangement. So I visited there and I ordered for a lemon tea. So the lemon tea was served to me in no time. It came in a very fancy looking cup, just like the one that's seen on the screen. Very classy, looked great. I took a sip of it, tasted excellent. But guess what? I could not enjoy the tea for longer. The unconventional shape or the design of this cup made it almost impossible for me to use it. So I could not secure a tight grip because there was no slit in the handle. I felt like I will drop it anytime soon. Plus, the cup was really heavy, made it even more difficult to grip. All the heat was transferred to my hands. Think about it. Again, my hometown has similar, weather like here. I was sweating. I ran to the vendor and asked him to change the cup. So by the time he changed the cup, the tea was no longer hot. It spoiled my entire experience of having the tea. So this cup reminded me of uh, a book which is called as The Design of Everyday Things, the first book recommendation for you. In this book, the author speaks about a catalog of things that was designed to be intentionally unusable, like the coffee mug that you see here, coffee pot that you see here. This cup reminded me of that. So while heading back home, I started to do a little bit of research about this cup, only to find that all the reviews echoed what I felt. Right? Everybody wrote that this cup can be only used for something hot. Sorry, something cold, not anything hot. So this is a classic example of what happens when you compromise functionality for aesthetics. The first lesson of the day. So good designs never do that. Right? The most important aspect of a usable design is functionality. The cup had just one job. I could not use the cup for even drinking a cup of tea. And the basic rule is a design should help the person to accomplish their goals. They should understand the users and build something to help them accomplish their goals. But which did not happen in this case. So we see a lot of products these days which do that, right? Focusing too much on aesthetics but compromising on functionality. So don't do that. A very good example that comes to my mind is a company called Juicero. Juicero was a company which was funded by tech giants like Google. They raised hundreds of millions of dollars. So they planned to disrupt the juicing industry. Okay, they created a very elegant looking a juicer. Looked aesthetically beautiful. But guess what? Firstly, this costed around $700. Okay, and it would require Wi-Fi to work. A juicer which requires Wi-Fi to work and will only work with the pre-cut proprietary packs that the company made. Okay. So later, a video by Bloomberg, showed that you can just use your bare hands to, choose those packets. You don't need a $600 machine. The focus on aesthetics over functionality led to the downfall of this company. So now you'll ask me, then are aesthetics not important? Does looks does not matter, is it? That's not what I'm trying to say. In today's world, looks matter. So to understand UX, you need to learn a little bit about how you need to understand people and how they think. You need not have to have a master's degree in psychology, but understanding a little bit about how people think will help you go a really long way. So the first law of UX that you're learning today is called as aesthetic usability effect. So people have this tendency to perceive attractive products as more usable. People think things that look better will work better. Today, the expectations of the customers are skyrocketed. Today, people just don't want to use product to solve their problem. They want it to look good. It should feel good. So you don't want your see aesthetics influence users to such an extent that they are willing to forgive businesses for small mistakes, small issues. People are okay with small issues here and there. Again, it has its limit. You cannot have crashes or some huge issues. But people are okay to have small issues here and there if your applications look good. So you don't want your products to be, not used because it does not look good. Studies have shown that majority of our purchase decisions are subconscious. We make a decision in 7 seconds, and the looks or the aesthetics of the product highly influences our purchase decisions. That's why today we see brands investing so much in premium packaging of the product. When there are aesthetics, the product will stand out. That will say. A great example in the software field is Apple. It leverages this aesthetic usability effect very well. So they use gorgeous black and white themes, right? They make large images and make your focus go there. They use a lot of white spaces. Again, their products are minimalistic, very elegant. Again, Apple products are not perfect either. They had their own series of issues, but people were tolerant towards them, right? People were okay to forgive them, even if there are minor issues. So redefining the first lesson that we learned. So it's important to strike the right balance between aesthetics and functionality. So a good way to have some quality time with your family is to go out and watch a good movie while you enjoy a large bowl of popcorn. Over the years, I realized that the key to a happy life is a happy wife. So I decided to take my wife out to the movies on a weekend. So I have a 5-year-old daughter. We had to take care of her. We put her to sleep, and we asked my parents to take care of her. We went to the movies. By the time we did all that, we got slightly delayed. So I had booked my tickets with a popular, platform to book online. So we rushed to the theaters to make it on time. When I reached the theaters, I pulled out my phone, looked at the mobile ticket, and we ran to our screens. So when we entered the hall, the movie had already started. We found our seats and we sat down. We were slightly disappointed we could not make it on time. So we watched the movie for around 10 minutes. Nothing is making sense. Right? We are not getting the plot. I initially thought it's because we missed the first 10 minutes of the movie. Maybe that's why. But something was seriously wrong. I could feel it. So I opened my phone to realize that we had entered the wrong screen. Instead of entering screen 4, we had entered screen 2. So I gathered courage to tell this to my wife. And you know the rest of the story, right? So I told her we ran back to our original rooms, that is screen 4. We found our seats again, we sat down. We lost the first 30 minutes of the movie. Even worse, I have to face the now wrath of my wife. She remembers this even today. So that's why I remember this. It at least helped me in this presentation to do something. So the problem here was with the visual hierarchy of this movie ticket. I completely blamed this movie ticket, the mobile design of this mobile movie ticket for the mess up. Yes, I made a mistake. I misread the ticket, but I blamed the design of the mobile ticket for this, mess up that I did. See, the most important information on a movie ticket is the screen number and my seat number. And I expect them to be the biggest elements on the design. I know I have brought 2 tickets. That's not a valuable information for me. Right. So this leads to the lesson that size matters in the visual hierarchy. Visual hierarchy is basically positioning of the elements according to significance. Visual hierarchy dictates what you see first, what you see second, what you see third, and so on. Have a look at this. I want you guys to read this. This is basically visual hierarchy at play. So you can achieve visual hierarchy through various ways. So visual hierarchy is important to, you know, highlight the key element on a design. Visual hierarchy is achieved by different ways. One is you can use scale. You can make the important elements stand out by using a larger size. You can use contrast. You can use combination of light and dark colors. You can use different direction. Differently aligned elements will stand out. You can use position. See, as users, we don't read through content, we scan through content. And there are 2 ways we scan. One is the F and one is the Z. These are the 2 patterns being used. So position creates automatic hierarchy. So yes, my movie experience was compromised, but having a poor visual hierarchy can do worse, right? It will leave the users misguided or it can, confuse them. So you might remember an incident where Steve Harvey, a popular anchor, announced the wrong Miss Universe on stage. Instead of announcing Miss Philippines as the Miss Universe, he announced Miss Colombia as the Miss Universe on a live stage in front of millions of people watching live. Again, the design of the visual hierarchy is too bad. His hands completely hid the winner of the Miss Universe, and there are also other issues because of which it happened. Then many UX enthusiasts redesigned the elimination card to demonstrate what a good visual hierarchy should have looked like. So to support what I said so far, the next law of UX that you should learn is called as want restore for that. So when there are multiple similar objects, the one that differs from the rest is most likely to be remembered. So let's think about the way I thought when reading the ticket in a hurry. Right, the number 2 stood out. So I remember that, though I was not fully conscious of what I was looking because I was in a hurry. Right. So you need to be strategic in deciding what element stands out. So you can make something stand out by using a different color. You can make it larger. If it is a text, you can make it bold, italic, and so on. Usually, this is used in the call to action pages. Right? This is the ticket, and you see how number 2 is standing out. So Netflix, if you look at the Netflix landing page, right? See how 2 things stand out. What are the 2 things standing out? Get started, sign it. They use bright red colors and they're making the call to action button stand out, and they are leveraging the want as perfect. You might have also seen some of the billing pages that we use, right? Again, they highlight a particular you know pricing model and get your attention on that. To make it even more attractive, they put some unattractive options next to it, and this plan looks even more attractive. But actually, the businesses want you to buy this because it's more profitable for them. So this is how psychology is used everywhere, which we do not realize. So next time when you're testing your designs or your prototype, ask yourself, what is the first thing that you see on your application? Where does your eyes naturally go? What actions do you want your users to take? Are you able to draw your users' attention to that place? Right? Is the visual hierarchy guiding them through a journey that you want them to take? So you may ask me, how do I know what users see first? Are important elements standing out? How do I You can do a simple squint test. That is, close your eyes up to like 80%, right? Your vision will be blurred. When your vision is blurred, what you see is the visual highlight. See, then see what are the elements that you look first. That's where the user's eye will go. See if the call to action buttons are standing out when you squint your eye. See how the visual hierarchy, the screen number, the seat numbers stand out so well. I only wish the mobile ticket replicated. Do you need a learning or training to use a calculator on your laptop or your phone? No, right? So this is important because users create mental models based on their interactions with real world objects. And when they move to the digital world, they carry these interpretations with them. So good designs use or capitalize on the existing knowledge of the people and reduce the learning curve that is involved. They reduce the friction. People not only just coming back to this. So again, subconsciously, if you look at the movie ticket, I had created a mental model of what a movie ticket should look like, and in that mental model, the screen number and the row numbers had to stand out. And I used that mental model unknowingly. I hope you are getting what I'm trying to say. We don't just use mental models for, based on our experiences with real world objects. We also learn from other applications that we have used. So the next law is called Jacob's law, which says that these users spend maximum amount of time on other applications and they expect your app to work the same way. People expect similar apps to work similarly. So it becomes important to use the patterns and conventions that people are familiar with. Take a look at this example. All the major e-commerce sites from your likes of Walmart, Amazon, eBay, Flipkart. See how similar their layouts are. At the extreme left, you have the logo, a huge search bar, account information, card information. They are designed intentionally this way. They are trying to reduce the cognitive load. These businesses do not want you to spend your time and energy learning their websites. They want you to spend your money on buying their products. They are intentionally reducing the learning curve or friction that is involved by making use of the familiar patterns. So don't make users think. If you make users think, you are making them unhappy. If you make users think, they will go elsewhere to get their job done. Okay, so the next book recommendation is Don't Make Me Think from Steve Krug. I don't mind even if you don't read this book, at least remember the name. That itself will act as a great heuristic. So now my question is, what if I, don't honor any of this? I will not match between the system and real world. I will not capitalize on the existing mental model of the user. So what will happen? Time to find out. A quick hands-on. I want each and every one of you to use your laptop or mobile. Go to this website, userinyourface.com. So whoever completes, this is a simple website. You just have to fill a form. Whoever completes this in 1 minute, I will give them a reward. So the lesson that I'm trying to say is, this is what happens when you don't follow real world conventions or patterns that are familiar to people. This is what happens when you do not capitalize on the existing mental models of users. This is what happens when you don't honor, some of the basic UX laws and principles. Again, I sold some simple examples, but it can do worse, right? There are people who have lost their lives because of poor UX. There have been, cases wherein the entire country was alerted of missile alert because the UX was really bad. Anyway, going forward, I'll give you time till end of the day. Okay, let's see who completes it. So the last story for the day, what my daughter taught me about user experience. So this was during the COVID period. My daughter was transitioning early, Miss Sanvika. She was transitioning from a toddler to a preschooler. So we did not let her out to play because of obvious reasons. But she was very bored at home, and she used to spend a lot of time watching rhymes on phone and TV. As working parents, me and my wife did our best to reduce her screen time. But we are not able to completely eliminate her screen time. So I just thought, what if I make her screen time more educational? There are some games that are designed to help the growing, mind of the child. So I installed a few educational games on my mobile phone. During the screen time, I used to give her this, apps to play. So she was challenged. So she was learning about colors, numbers, pattern matching, and phonics and all that. So she was enjoying. She had a good time. I was happy that she was learning. One fine day, I look at my credit card bills to see that there is around 1,000 rupees that is debited on in-app purchases. Today, you can do a purchase with just a click of a button, right? So this was a wake-up call for me. Often you see in the news that parents, children, knowingly or unknowingly, empty their parents' pockets on in-app purchases. Again, she was still a toddler. It was a wake-up call for me. I installed necessary parental controls and restrictions. However, I think, as a responsible parent, it's my job. But I also think the responsibility also lies on the developers of these games. Design with responsibility should be the mantra when building games for children. So it taught me a very important lesson, that is, prevent users from making costly mistakes. Great designs do that. Great designs have error proofing in place. So what you see on the screen, many responsible apps have some mechanisms like this. This is called error proofing, or in this case, it can be also child proofing. So these designs look simple but work really well. Okay, when the child enters the in-app purchase area or the settings, they are challenged with the question, a simple logical question. Toddlers and preschoolers do not have developed logical skills. They will not be able to bypass this easily. And by implementing these simple mechanisms, they save the parents from getting looted. There are fraudulent apps who intentionally don't add these to loot the parents. Okay, but responsible apps have error proofing in place. So a lot of things that we do today have come from manufacturing. So in manufacturing, it is called Pokayoke. Pokayoke is basically mechanisms that are put in place to prevent users from making mistakes. Some of the day-to-day electronic appliances you use, like washing machine or your microwave oven, you cannot get them started till you securely close the door, right? You can only start them when you close the door. It's designed like that intentionally to prevent the risk of running these machines with an open door. All the modern day, cables fit in their respective slots. You cannot fit a USB cable in a HDMI port. That is intentionally done that way. So let's take an example in this software field. Let's say there's a simple file uploader. Okay, so I upload a file. It says that this file type is not supported, and it gives me an error message. Good error messages are important. It helps the user. But even better is a design that prevents users from making the mistake. So don't let me choose a file that is not supported. Don't tell me later that you made a mistake. Prevent me from doing that mistake at the first place. That's what great designs do. Great designs anticipate the mistakes that users can do and prevent them from making so. Rather than later telling them, today in all our applications, we say that we have validations in place, right? But better designs prevent users from making mistakes. That's a great experience. Gmail. Gmail does it very well. Let's say you send an email to someone by mistake. You can always undo it. Of course, for a particular period of time, you can undo it. It helps you to recover from error or a mistake. Even better, it prevents users from making mistakes. That's what is Pokayoke or error proofing, preventing users from making mistakes. Any destructive action that you do, you can see such mechanisms in place. Let's say you want to delete your account forever in a social media site. You'll see a prompt like this. Let's say I had something to the cart. I had to sign in or register to complete my purchase. Obviously, people are dropping off. New users did not want to register. Returning users forgot their login information. So they were losing big time. So they introduced one simple button wherein users could continue as a guest and check out. Guess what? That simple change helped them to make $300 million additional in their revenue that year. They increased their conversions by 45% there. Even better, the people who went in the guest flow, 90% of such users registered on Amazon. So what next for you as testers? So the first thing that I want you guys, when you live here today, is to learn the 10 usability heuristics by Jacob Nielsen and learn some laws of UX. I've shared the links in my presentation. I think the team would be sharing it with you as well. So once you are familiar with these principles, start applying it in your day-to-day test. Start collaborating with your UX team, your designers, and apply these principles against the product that you are testing. It's called as heuristic evaluation, assessing your usability and experience with the help of some of the laws. So I have already introduced you to a few of the laws and heuristics. So it will be easier for you to learn it really quickly. Some more tips for testers, how you can help your organizations create great user experience. So I have given a lot of ideas here. So collaboration is important, right? How often do you speak to different functions? Talk to your sales, talk to your customer success, talk to your support teams, talk to your product, right? There are a lot of areas wherein you can add value. So I will just tell you what we did. We started analyzing each and every support ticket that comes in. That gives you a great understanding of what the customers are facing, what their pain points are. Can we do something as testers to improve the experience of our customers, right? Pair up with your product, understand your competitors, understand who your competitors are, what are their strengths, what are their weaknesses, why did our customers come to us, are we losing customers to our competitors, right? We have to do much more than what we are doing. We cannot just say we cannot be in our cocoon and say this is what I do. So the more you collaborate, the more value that you can add to your teams. Look at your product ratings, feedback. This will also help you to advocate for your bugs really well. uh, and also look at analytics data and see if you can learn anything from that. Uh, Pair up with your documentation team. Review your public documentation. We often feel that testing is just testing the software. You also need to test the byproduct that comes with the software, that is the documentation. That's very important, and users adopt a tool based on how good the documentation is, how good the public facing user guides are, API documentation is. So as testers, you can add great value by reviewing them and helping with your technical documentation. Thank you so much, QA Touch, for giving me this opportunity to share my thoughts. I hope you enjoyed the presentation. Thank you so much.